Hi guys, and welcome to Talks with Kat. I'd really appreciate it if you could give my channel a like and hit subscribe. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that has been coming up for a while in my early 20s. And that is when someone tells you that you're either too sensitive, you're being crazy, or you're overthinking things. I have a few problems with these things, and I'm going to start with the first one. The first one is when you tell someone that they're too something, or you tell yourself, I'm being too sensitive, you're creating this standard of where you should be and then where you're not. Now, I'm not saying that there are never instances where we are maybe being a little bit overreactive or being a bit anxious, but the issue is with how you're talking to yourself or how you're talking to a friend when they're telling you that they felt a certain way. This reminds me of a time my roommate was seeing a guy, and I remember she was a little bit uncomfortable with his really slow replies. We're talking days here. And some of the friends she'd spoken to had said, hey, I think you might just be overreacting. You need to calm down, just wait. And it was always this emphasis on what she needed to do. She needed to be less sensitive. She needed to be okay with the fact that he didn't reply promptly, and made her feel like she wasn't much of a priority. And I remember she came home one day and we started talking about it. And I said to her, what if we stop saying that you're too crazy, you're too sensitive, that you're overthinking things? And what if we start saying, okay, you've got a feeling about this. Let's listen to it. What is that feeling telling you? And she said that he's a player, that he's not that into me, that he's not being honest. And I said, okay. So instead of saying you're too this and you're too that and imposing all these things on you that make you feel like you're not entitled to have emotions, why don't we just listen to that, accept it in a judgment-free space, and then see where it takes us? If it's upsetting you, then you need to listen to that. Because as soon as you impose I shouldn't be upset and I am, not only are you upset that the boyfriend or the guy you're seeing hasn't replied, but then you're also upset with yourself because you feel that you are having feelings that you shouldn't be. And I don't think that's fair. I think that your emotions tell you something, and your emotions are fundamental in saying, hey, something's not sitting right with you. Whether it's you feel a boundary has been crossed or you're not comfortable with something that's happening, that's something you should listen to. If you say, all right, look, maybe I am. Oh, hell. Something really good can come out of embracing the fact that you feel something is not right. Instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way, you can say, all right, I'm feeling this way. Why? And when you start acknowledging the why, your life starts adjusting to who you're supposed to really be. So for example, there might be some people who are totally fine with not getting a reply for a day or two, and that is fine. But if you're not fine with it, why should you have to put up with it? You shouldn't. So if you start listening to that and going, okay, I'm not crazy. I just don't want to be in a relationship where I get slow replies. That's not who I am, and I accept that. Then you can make a decision to say, all right, I'm done with this guy. He doesn't have what I want. Do you see the two differences? On the one hand, you've got, oh no, I feel crap, and now I feel even worse because I shouldn't be feeling this way, versus, I feel this way. What has this told me about myself? That I don't like this, and that's okay. And I'm going to move in a direction that says, yep, this is where I'm going. Okay, I've got a scenario for you guys. Let's say that you don't like crickets, but all your friends hang out with crickets. Yes, I'm talking about the insect. Yes, it is weird. Let's say all your friends hang out with crickets on a Friday night, and you're like, guys, these bugs, they're weird. They make sounds. I don't like it. Imagine if every Friday night you forced yourself to hang out with crickets because you thought that's what was normal. You thought if you didn't want to hang out with crickets, that you were too weird, too crazy, you were too this, yada, 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 yada. What if we flip the script and say, you know what, Bob? I don't know why his name is Bob. You know what, Bob? You don't like crickets, and that's okay. I think you should embrace the fact that you don't like crickets and try not going next Friday night. This way, Bob doesn't have to be around crickets and he's no longer beating himself up because he doesn't like crickets. If Bob's friends think that Bob's a loser because he doesn't like hanging out with crickets, then he's going this way in life and they're going this way, down the cricket trail. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is embrace the fact that you might feel a certain way, because it's going to get you closer to where you need to be. It's going to get you to a place where you're being true to you. That whole time Bob was going and hanging around with these crickets, it didn't feel right and it was miserable. But you know what? If Bob starts listening to himself and going, I don't like these crickets, in 5 years' time, he might have saved, 20 Friday nights doing something that made him feel good as opposed to not. So whether you're in a relationship where something doesn't feel right, or your friends are doing something, or you have an opinion on your university degree, whatever it is, just give yourself a break and listen to it and try and catch yourself out when you start saying, I shouldn't this, or I'm too this. And I think hopefully it'll have a snowball effect and you'll start to get more confident and see, okay, I can do this. I accept the way I am and I accept that I feel something. I want girls and guys to know that you're entitled to a feeling. And what people should be really judging others on is not their feelings, it's how they deal with those feelings. So like I said before, there might be an instance where you yourself feel you have overreacted, but don't let anyone tell you you're overreacting and then just assume that that's truth because they've said it to you. You have to have your own standards with what you're comfortable with. If something doesn't feel right to you, I implore you to explore that and not just go, nah, I'm being silly. It's really easy to turn to those friends. I don't know if you guys have this, but you'll have one or two friends who they'll always tell you what you want to hear. So you might say, oh, I'm seeing this guy, I have a really bad feeling. But if you message good old Gemma, she'll tell you not to worry and everything will be fine, and he'll message you the next day. Yeah, nah. The other thing I wanted to say was there's a remarkable amount of people who are usually feeling the exact same way as you in your situation. But we have become so good at hiding that. And I feel like the things that encourage us to hide how we're feeling is the comments that people make around us. It's the, oh, that's a strange way to feel. Oh, you're just being too sensitive, Dal. Thanks, Karen. I didn't ask for your opinion, but anyway.
Boo, Karen. Boo.
Where was I going? What was I saying? Crap, I always do this. I legitimately can't remember what I was saying. I think there are a lot of men and women out there who are uncomfortable with a lot of things and they pretend like they're not because they're embarrassed or they think that they're not supposed to feel that way. And I've noticed as I've been getting older, my friendship circle has shrunk purely because, I'm more comfortable with who I am. But something I've noticed is a lot of us are having these conversations that we didn't have when we were 16 or 18 or even 20 about what we're okay with and what we're not. And obviously, it's not always going to be exactly the same. But I've noticed that the more our self-esteem has grown in our own time, the more that we're like, yeah, that's not crazy. Good on you, sister. The more we're like, yeah, that's so rude. He didn't reply for a day. And that's because we're getting more and more comfortable with being ourselves and going, this is how I feel and I'm going to embrace that. And this is what I mean. Normal implies now to me, oh, okay, normal just means you should be like this. You should fit into this category. But really, we're just a massive speck on this spectrum of just people and life. And that's the problem I have with normal. It's like, honey, if normal's here, I'm way over here. And I like it. I like it a lot. I laugh at my own jokes. Really sad. So I encourage you guys to start a dialogue and be vulnerable and put yourself out there and see what happens. If we all started encouraging each other to say, hey, you feel that way and that's okay, and you should act in accordance with your feelings, I think our world would look a little bit different. So if you guys can get one thing out of this video, it's please stop judging yourself. Key takeaways are, notice when you're saying I'm being too this, And notice when you're saying I shouldn't. The words to and shouldn't. Try 1 week without telling yourself either of those things and see what happens. I hope you guys have liked this video. I can waffle a little bit and I am weird. Everybody is weird. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week.